Hello world! Elephant baby Assam is enjoying his first trip in the outdoor enclosure.
Of course, that's really exciting. That's why all of my colleagues are here, so he doesn't fall into the water.
Little Assam is pretty hairy, like all elephant babies. However, the veritable carpet of hair falls out after 1 or 2 years. Today, for the very first time, Assam is allowed to act out his urge to move in the big outdoor enclosure. Torsten, Hamburg Zoo's head elephant keeper, sees no reason why the healthy little bundle of joy should remain in the nursery any longer.
We're going outside with the little one now. He's roughly 2 weeks old, and together with his aunt and his mum, we're going to show him the big outdoor enclosure. The weather's fine, and he can have a good look around in peace. It's all new to him.
In a herd of elephants, all of the adults take care of the youngsters, not just the mother. Assam's mother, Lai Singh, is no exception and receives support.
You never know what's going to happen, where he'll run to, but everyone's looking out for him. They're used to it, okay? Off we go.
Only elephant cows live with their young together in herds. Bulls are loners. Assam not only receives an escort consisting of his mother, his aunties and half-sisters, 5 elephant keepers also watch over the 100-kilogram baby's first day trip.
Of course, everyone's really excited when he first comes out into the enclosure. That's why we have a lot of staff here to keep him safe. If he runs off, they can protect him from falling into the water basin, for example. Of course, we don't want that.
Assam is certainly full of beans this morning, that's for sure.
The aunts are making sure nothing happens to him. You can see that he always stays between the big elephant legs and doesn't venture too far from his aunties and his mum. They're quite capable without us. But should he make a break for it, the keepers are all here.
Careful, look out.
The keepers couldn't grab hold of Assam if he really decided to dash off. Should this happen, they constitute human warning signs with outstretched arms. But Assam has no intention of running off. Sand. Everywhere fabulous sand.
Little elephants paw the ground at first. He's also trying to use his trunk. It's not working because he doesn't know what it's for. He'll see the adults using it and copy them.
Assam will learn from his elders for 7 years. After that, the cows drive their male descendants out. Three-week-old guillemots can't fly, as they still have stubby wings. Yet now they leap into the sea for the first time. The northern seas are also the homeland of puffins. Young birds fledge at around 6 weeks. Sebastian and Dave look after the birds.
We have a lot of young animals, and that means a lot of hustle and bustle at the enclosure. To make sure that every chick gets enough food, we put a lot of bowls out there for them, and this is why we have a bit more to do than usual.
Just 16 young puffins live here. The numbers of these birds that breed in Greenland, Iceland and Norway are in decline. Since 2015, they have been classified as threatened.
Our Puffin chicks are so cute. We didn't have any for a long time. Not many zoos have these birds because they're so difficult to breed. We're especially happy to have this whole group. They're unbelievably cute and trusting.
In the wild, outside of the mating season, puffins live on the open sea, far away from the coast.
What's wrong with him then? You can see that the little puffins still have a sharp beak. Their characteristic, rounded, colourful beak doesn't form until after their second or third year. Once they're 4, then it's really vivid. As babies, it's not yet rounded so that the parents can feed them well.
The little calf of bison cow Nora is just a few minutes old. The other cows in the herd leave mother and child in peace. Bisons maintain a very intensive mother and child relationship.
She's the most senior cow. The others don't dare go near her. If she were a lesser cow, the others would intervene and sniff the youngster inquisitively.
Bison babies can stand on their own 10 minutes after their birth. The herd affords them protection from predators. Years ago, their biggest enemy, human beings, almost eradicated the wild cattle. Fewer than 1,000 animals survived.
There were once 60 million of them. At least now the population has reached 500,000 again. Nature took care of that because it makes little difference if 3 or even 30 calves are killed by bears or wolves. Half an hour after birth they can walk, and after a whole day they can run really well. That makes things difficult for wolves too, especially as the entire herd is alert.
The little ones suckle milk at their mum's bar for 6 months. At birth, they weigh around 20 kilograms. As adults, somewhere between 500 and 900 kilograms. This makes the bison America's largest land mammal. 12-day-old Assam is outside for the first time today. He is especially fond of feeling the sand under his feet.
He's almost falling asleep in the sand. We'll have to wake him in a sec and take him to the shed. I don't want him to get too cold.
Elephants live in warmer regions, but they can't sweat as they don't have sweat glands. They can catch colds, though. Especially for elephant babies like Assam, this can be very dicey. Just like human children, he doesn't have a completely developed immune system. Meanwhile, he's even too tired to drink.
He more or less just dropped onto the straw. Now he should get some sleep. It was a wonderful day for him, and we really enjoyed it too.
Elephants only sleep for 2 to 3 hours per day, and never does an entire herd sleep at the same time. In the wild, vigilance decides between life or death. But elephant babies couldn't care less about the rules of the wild. The bison calf has only just begun to stand. Now he has to drink and become strong.
I hope it's a girl. Sadly, our bull bison, the father, died. That's why we need a new stock bull. Girls we can keep. They're not related to the new one, and so they can breed.
Young bulls have to leave the park to avoid inbreeding. In addition to this, young bulls are loners and are only part of a herd in their younger years.
None of the cows would let me get near the calf to check. They'd also attack me if I went near the cow. This isn't some cuddly animal. They keep out of your way when they can. If not, they just attack you. And if she has a calf, then all the more so. A domestic cow would do the same. They're not just sweet-tempered animals either.
Volker tries to determine the baby's sex from outside of the enclosure. Bisons are very fertile animals. The cows are pubescent when they are 2. The children are brought up exclusively by the mother. They have a life expectancy of 20 years, under humans even 40, and they can give birth even in their old age.
It's 95% certain to be a girl.
Yeah?
Thank God.
This means the bison girl can stay in Volker's care. Dave and Sebastian make sure that all of the 5-week-old puffins in the seabird aviary eat their food.
Puffins are really fabulous animals. I find them interesting because they get this wonderful colouring and because they're so trusting. If those living in the wild are just as curious, I don't know. You want to come home with me?
We have to memorize the ring number. I think it's 74.
The bird's sexual organs are inside. Males and females have identical plumage. Only a genetic test could reveal the sex.
It's just like penguins and many other birds. You can't always tell whether it's a male or female. If we don't know, then they get a name and a coloured ring around their feet. The ring helps us then to differentiate between them, because they all look very much alike.
The young Puffin and Guillemot kids are making one heck of a noise in the rock aviary. The parents can hear the high-pitched calls of the young birds from great distances. They recognize their chicks out of the thousands of other young birds. A few weeks ago, Dave was put right off his stride by the shrill whimpering.
The begging sound is funny. It's a really monotone sound. And in the beginning, I have to be honest, it really got on my nerves. So I was alone here, and all of the bird kids would come to me, all of them begging. You know, after a while, you ask yourself, who did you see last and who not? Somehow you have to stay on top of things, you know. Are they all eating? Are they all swimming? Are they all in good health? But since then now, it's become routine to me, and I know who's who, and this begging noise really is now music to my ears.
The better a puffin chick is fed, the quicker he leaves the nest. Sounds like an old proverb. He then independently flies off across the open sea, never to return. This prickly little something wants to weigh between 15 and 20 kilograms. Fully grown porcupines have up to 40-centimeter-long spines that they use in defense when attacked. The baby's spines are soft at birth. The offspring in the birthing cave are 6 days old. Michael, the vet, wants to examine them.
Here we have some little porcupines, and I'd like to place a chip under their skin. At the same time, we can check whether they're males or females.
To just go in and grab the 3 babies, that could have serious consequences. At first, porcupines warn their enemies by creating a rattling sound with the hollow spines on their back sides. Then they attack. With their spines spread wide, they run backwards at their foes. Their spines are like skewers and can cause painful injuries or inflammation.
If they knew that the vet's coming, they wouldn't have left the cave. They'd protect their young. The main thing is that the mother's outside. Let's hope they won't get worked up when we close the flap. They're not familiar with that.
Porcupines are rodents. They like to gnaw on plant food. Lured out of the cave with food, the way back is blocked for the adult animals.
The female's trying to come back in because we've separated her from her offspring. But she's got to wait. It'll only take a minute, then she can come back in. Then they'll be reunited.
Just below the navel, Michael examines the genitals.
It's a boy. You can feel it because they have a penis bone in there. Okay, Tony, then give me the next one.
Okay, Toni, dann den nächsten.
South American maras are also rodents. They're allowed to run freely around the park. Keeper Sebastian is worried.
A visitor has just told me that babies have just been born. I'll have to go and see what's up, because they don't usually give birth out in the open. Normally they construct burrows where they give birth. But she's obviously decided to deliver her babies in the fresh air.
A female mostly gives birth to 2 babies. Pampas hares can be up to 15 years old and are faithful to their partners their whole life long.
The dad sits in the background and keeps an eye on the surroundings. He makes sure that there are no predators around and that another mara keeps away. Actually, the animals are quite social, but when they have young, they won't even let their own kind come anywhere near them.
Foxes, martens and pumas belong to the natural enemies of the South American animals.
I've never seen such small maras. When they're born in the burrow, we never get to see them this size.
Maras are fully developed at birth and live outside from day one without the warmth of their mothers.
They're related to guinea pigs. This explains why they're so well developed. A guinea pig is also developed at birth and can already chew. These little ones drink their mother's milk, but also chew on grasses or on carrots that the visitors give them.
Mugambi is a Rothschild giraffe baby, delivered by his mother Etosha just a few days ago. Once fully grown, he can be 5 meters tall. Three days ago, the vets and keeper Thomas inoculated him against infectious diseases. Now Thomas is working out how to win back the trust he had to the young giraffe.
His last experience with us was negative. We had to grab hold of him and give him a couple of jabs. Since then, he's been eyeing us with suspicion. I want to be able to get closer to him again.
Trust between keeper and giraffe is important. Mugambi will only allow himself to be examined closely if he feels safe in Thomas's presence. This is necessary to be able to recognize illnesses at an early stage or to administer ointments. And it's important for Mugambi's well-being.
I don't seem to be able to lure him properly. He knows carrots and he eats them too, but the most important food for him is still mother's milk. I hope that soon he'll realize and then come for a carrot. Let's wait and see.
Giraffe Lila is never averse to a treat. But with her 4.5 meters, she is somewhat in the way of Thomas's plan today. After all, little Mugambi is supposed to come forward, not her. Thomas lures her into the adjacent box.
Etosha, you go over there. Go over there, Etosha. Over there.
Etosha, come on over.
They know their names, but that doesn't mean they answer to them. But it usually works.
Mugambi's mother, Etosha, is now with her child, so that he feels safe. She has to show the little one that contact with Thomas is something positive.
Okay, you three. Come over here. Mugambi. Look, carrots. Come here. Yes. Come here.
The African miniature goat is a domestic species, at home across the globe. They can't all assert themselves well. For the keepers, the youngest one in the enclosure is a cause for concern. The youngsters usually suckle for 5 months, and during the first weeks of life on an hourly basis.
I just have to see how the little one's doing. She's 3 days old and started suckling her mother well. But now my colleague tells me that she keeps being sent away when she tries to drink. I hope there isn't a problem. I'll just go and check. That is a good sign. That's what we call milky diarrhea. She also has a bloated belly. That means everything's okay. If she can excrete, then she must have swallowed something beforehand. Did you miss out? Where's your mother? Shall we have a look?
The milk of the first days of life is especially important for the little kid. It consists of vital antibodies against illnesses.
Where is she? Come here. There you go.
That's the first ever baby for this mother goat. She is slowly getting used to giving milk.
Young mothers often have to cope with difficulties like this. On occasion, they may even reject their own young. But this is okay. She has a bloated belly, she drinks, and the rest will come in due time.
Every time they suckle, the mother-child relationship intensifies.
Yes, that's all going really well now. We're 100% on the safe side. No more cause for concern. These two are going to be fine now.
The 6-day-old porcupine triplets are all about to receive a microchip with data beneath their skin. The offspring will feel just a slight jab. This is how all of the animals in the zoo can be distinguished from one another.
It's another boy. That's 1 girl, 2 boys, Tony.
The mother can go back.
She's definitely aware that everything smells differently. This is why she's careful and is cranking up her spines. Sometimes they have a sort of sixth sense for things like that. Her offspring is in the corner. She's trying to keep them away from us. Bye.
Now the vet and the keeper leave the porcupines in peace. Apart from the mother, the 4 other grown rodents now sniff around the little ones and the surroundings. And they all settle down.
The young are now a bit braver and run after their mother. I thought they'd spend all day hiding in the box, but that didn't happen. It's really sweet.
In 4 weeks, the young will be pretty independent. But Mum and Dad will still accompany them for at least the next 6 months. Mugambi, the little giraffe bull, is to rebuild trust to his keeper, Thomas. Thomas hopes that Mugambi will simply come to him, just as the adults do.
Jetzt zeigst du mir auch ganz gepflegt den Hintern. Das ist ja sehr nett von dir, ne? Ich hoffe, du willst mir damit nicht sagen, was du von mir hältst. Also jetzt, dass die Giraffen
It's important that the giraffes lower their heads once a day so I can have a look at their noses and eyes, a sort of daily health check. Etosha is cooperating nicely. If need be, I can even touch her. If she's got a problem with her eyes, I can apply eye ointment. Once a day I check that her teeth are okay and stuff like that. I'd like to be able to do that with him too.
As unlikely as the situation seems, Thomas is optimistic.
At some point he'll come. One day he'll say to himself, if Mum goes and eats there, the man can't be so bad.
Thomas is not even considering entering the box to get to Mugambi, not just because a giraffe's kick can be deadly.
I can't force it. Approaching him is no good, because he just goes away. The animal must come of its own accord. That's the only thing that works. Hey, come over here. Oh, now he's coming. Etosha, no. Etosha, you can have this.
Ach komm. Mugambi.
Mugambi? Yes, you can have that.
Ja. Nee.
Oh, pity.
Schade.
That was really good, lad.
Mein Großer.
He was really close. He's not always so curious. Another 10 centimeters and he could have eaten out of my hand. That doesn't sound much, but for him it's a long way. At some point it'll happen.
Irgendwann klappt's.
Thomas will practice every day with Mugambi. Perhaps he will be successful next time.